Hello, Texans, and welcome to the Fuddruckers Texans Players Show. I'm Marc Vandermeer with Deepi, Sidhu, and we have a great one for you tonight. Chris Moore, Texans wide receiver, former Cincinnati Bearcat. We're going to talk to him about all that. Former Raven, maybe a little on that. But we are presented by Fuddruckers. We'll give away a Fuddruckers gift card or two coming up in segment 2. So pay attention to segment 1 because your chances hinge on the knowledge you will acquire in this segment. Don't worry, it's not going to be too difficult. Anyway, Deepi, how are you?
I'm good, Marc. I'm excited to have Chris. We actually put in our request for Chris last week.
Yeah.
And then you recovered that onside kick on Sunday, and the first thing I thought was
Yes.
perfect.
Yes.
I mean, I know the game didn't go the way that you wanted it to go, but
Yeah.
how has it been for you first year here with the Texans? You've been on the practice squad, you've been playing in the games, but how do you feel like it's coming along for you?
I mean, it's coming along good. It's been a different season for me. I've been learning a lot because I've never been on practice squad, so that was a different process for me, and it actually challenged me in ways that I think made me a better football player in the long run. So it's been exciting. I'm hoping just to continue to help this team win.
The practice squad rules, I was going to ask you that because being a veteran on the practice squad, they just changed that last year?
Yeah, because of COVID.
Because of COVID.
Yeah.
So how do you view that as a veteran being on practice squad? Are you just happy to get a chance to be with a team, or, does it feel like this is just a completely different world from how the league was when you first came into it?
Yeah, it's definitely it's a completely different world, but I did look at it as an opportunity because if you're not able to be on that practice squad, you're just at home working out, hoping a team calls you when something happens. So at least you're still in the building, you're getting a chance to practice, getting a chance to be around the guys. So, I mean, I felt that was a blessing in disguise.
How has practice been for you? Because I got to imagine sometimes you do scouts, sometimes you do whatever reps you get with the first crew.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Because we don't see all of that all week.
Yeah, I mean, I do a little bit of everything. Like you said, I do the scout team when they ask me to. I get reps with the ones when I need to have game plan stuff, or when another receiver just needs a break, I go in there. But, I mean, I'm always working. Whenever they ask me to do something, I'm the first one. I'll do it, whatever you need. If they needed me to play defense, I'll do it. So
Hey.
He's like, I can
I'm
do it all.
I'm just down here. I'm just love playing football, so whatever they ask of me.
Did you play both ways in high school?
No, my coach wouldn't let me. So,
Really?
Wouldn't
Yeah.
let you.
Were you guys loaded? You were from
Tampa.
the Tampa area. And so was the school just loaded with athletes,
Yeah,
and that's why they specialized?
Yeah, we won state my senior year, so we had a really good team. We didn't need many people to go both ways. I think only one or two players on our whole team actually played offense and defense, so I just stuck with receiver and was really good at it.
How hard is it during the week when you're on practice squad and you didn't know when you were going to be elevated or not? Because you're playing scout team,
Yeah.
but then you need those reps in practice too. But there's no way to know really until game day or the day before. Or do you have a sense that you might get elevated?
I mean, sometimes you did, sometimes you had no idea. So what I did was I just studied the plays whatever we installed for the week. I made sure I knew everybody's role, everybody's position, and just made sure I was ready. Because, I mean, you never know, and if you get that opportunity, you got to make the most of it.
So you got to study everybody's part because you don't know who might be out and where you might be slotted in.
Yeah, I could be the slot receiver. I can be the outside receiver on either side of the ball. So I just made sure that I knew every single position. I mean, it's easy if you learn the whole concept. It makes your job easier. You just plug yourself in and just play.
I like how he says it's easy. That doesn't, I mean, I don't know much about playing wide receiver, but that sounds like a lot that you've got to study for
Yeah, I
in
mean,
a week.
yeah, it's the formations and like I said, the concepts. But I mean, I know the formations pretty good because we add all that stuff in training camp. We don't add too many more formations throughout the season. But the concepts is just what you gotta learn, and that's just plugging yourself in a spot and just knowing what route you have. So, I mean, I just put in the work and study.
Deepi mentioned the onside kick, but I just want to go there for a moment. That particular kind of play, you're going to get clocked when you recover an onside kick.
Yeah.
And I guess a lot of it is luck, too. Does it come to you? Does it bounce right? But what was that like for you? And then the moment you snare that ball, like, oh, boy, here it comes, footsteps.
Yeah, it was crazy because once I saw it bounce off Wood's hands, I'm like, oh, this is my chance to get it. Mm-hmm. And that worst part about it is actually down there at the bottom of that pile. I feel like I was wrestling for like 20 minutes. Like my arms were all tight and getting all fatigued because I was just sitting there holding the ball as tight as I can, and everybody just pulling on it. So that's really the toughest part about that.
I mean, do you want to say, I'm down. Look, I'm down on the ground. I've got possession. Stop already.
Yeah.
Blow that whistle.
And that was the worst part, too. The refs were telling me to get up. And I'm like, if I let go of this ball, they're going to think the
Right.
the Rams recovered it, and when I'm the one who had it in my chest and everything. So I was making sure at the end of the day when I stood up, I had that ball in my hand.
That's got to be the worst place to be, at the bottom of a pile. I'm sure
is.
some nasty stuff is happening in
It's
those
just
piles.
It's just nothing but people jumping on you, and you just feel nothing but hands hitting you
Punching.
and grab. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't.
Chris Moore joining us on Texans Radio. All right, so let's talk about the 67-yarder you had against the Patriots, because that was not a textbook easy play. You had to have your head on a swivel for that one. Take us through that touchdown reception.
Yeah, it was just it turned into a scramble drill. So the initial concept, it broke down and Davis got out of the pocket. So when I saw him scrambling, I just tried to go upfield, and usually that's our chance to make a bigger play because the defense isn't in the right spot anymore. And he actually put the ball in a pretty good spot for me to go up and get it, and I just high pointed it, and the rest is just running to the end zone.
How hard is it to high point the ball? We hear about that, we see it, but it's easier said than done.
Yeah, it's more of a reaction thing. It's not something you can just practice every day. It's something that, I mean, it's just years of playing football and years of seeing the ball travel in the air and just going up and attacking it, whether not letting it come down to you, just trying to go get it at its highest point.
And then the rest of that play is just run.
Just run as fast as you can. Yeah. I took a little peek at the scoreboard to make sure I had some space and just kept running.
Oh, really? You look up at the monitor?
Yeah, because you can see it's always live. It's probably like a half a second lag, but you can make sure nobody's coming from another angle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So little tricks of the trade there.
That's interesting because, you don't know unless somebody's right on you where the next defender is going to be.
Yeah, I knew the two were right here behind me, so I didn't know how close they were, so I knew I just had to run as fast as I can. But you don't know if somebody's coming from this blind side, so you take a quick peek real quick and check.
You don't want someone to knock you out of nowhere and you didn't even see it coming.
Exactly.
Well, how has it been in practice and just working with the rookie quarterback, Davis Mills? You've been in this league for a while now, and here's a young guy who's trying to make his way. He's made some plays, and I know the offense has struggled at other times. What's that been like for you?
I mean, I'm impressed about his composure. Like I've always said that whenever he comes in the building, no matter what happens in the game, he's not too high or too low. He comes into practice the same way every day, and I really enjoy that about him. He's getting more and more comfortable. I'm really impressed with how he spots the ball when he throws. Like you can tell he's starting to hone in. Like say you're running like a seam route or a go route, he can back shoulder and he'll put it right here for you. Like his ball location is getting a lot better. So I'm just really impressed with how he's coming along.
He actually said I asked him about you after the New England game, about just working with you in practice because you were on practice squad that week. He said that you were everywhere that you need to be all the time, that your placement actually was really good, and that really helped develop the chemistry. How hard is it to know where the quarterback wants you to be? I mean, I'm sure now it's gotten a little bit easier, but how do you sort of develop that over the last few weeks?
I think the biggest thing that helped us was in training camp. We got, especially because Tyrell was the starter at that time, me and Davis got a lot of reps together throughout training camp. And I feel like that's where we got to build that chemistry throughout all those preseason games and all those practices. Me and him got a lot of work together. So I feel like that just carried over. And you never know. You never think that all that stuff will actually pay off, but it does because throughout the week I don't get as many reps with him as I would like. But because of training camp, we already kind of had that chemistry. It just carries over.
Chris Moore joining us. Okay, let's take you back to Tampa here. Did you grow up a Bucs fan?
No. I don't think I really had a favorite NFL team. I was always just fans of receivers like Randy Moss, Larry Fitzgerald. Those were always guys I just watched, specific players.
Those are your guys?
Yes.
Anybody else at receiver?
I'm trying to think who else. It would have been before I got in the league. It was Mike Wallace just because how fast he was. Like I just loved receivers that always did the deep ball, and that was my favorite thing to do in high school and college. So I just watched those guys.
So you're in high school, and you probably feel like there's a pretty good chance to play college football. But what was that like when you were being recruited or just exploring your possibilities to play in college?
Yeah, it was a fun process for me. I actually committed to Cincinnati before my senior season even started. My junior year, I got some good attention from schools because I was playing pretty well, and I actually made a spreadsheet of every single college I would think about going to, and I had like an absurd amount of information on there, like the coaches, the passing yards, like what receivers, what years they were. Yeah, like I went into detail to make sure like the college I picked, I was going to enjoy my time there, and it was going to be the best fit for me to actually try to get to the NFL.
Did it not matter where it was? I mean, not that Cincinnati's a bad place, but you're from Florida, and you're thinking, Cincinnati, not exactly Florida.
Well, no, it did matter a little bit because being from Florida, I was worried about the snow. Like I've never seen it being that cold. I've never seen snow before. So I was kind of trying to pick schools that like when it got cold, I could at least practice. Like Cincinnati had a bubble, so
Right.
that was one of the big sells. Like, okay, when I'm practicing, I'll be inside a little bit. But as when I got there, the snow doesn't faze me anymore.
They have a bubble, and the Bengals don't.
Yeah.
So the Bengals use the Bearcats bubble, right?
Yeah,
They do.
that was cool. We actually got to see them practice some days when they
Mm-hmm.
would come in there and practice in our bubble. So, yeah, that's crazy.
And you're thinking, I did a great job picking a college, and you guys on the Bengals, I've got a bubble, and you're using my bubble
Yeah,
here.
Exactly.
Can we go back to your spreadsheet for a second? I'm very intrigued by this.
Yeah.
Okay, so this makes me think that your personality is just you're like highly organized, very detail oriented. This seems unusual for a 17, what were you, 16, 17 to make a spreadsheet
Yeah.
of all your colleges?
Well, it was my mom's idea. She told me like you should. She's like, this is a big decision, and she also was telling me that she didn't want me one of those kids that kept going back and forth saying, "Oh, I commit, decommit." So she's like, do your research, look at all the schools you wanted to go to, because I was a big Miami Hurricanes fan growing up. That's really where I wanted to go.
Sure.
But so I made a spreadsheet, and just the big things I was looking for in the school, Cincinnati had them all. And then so I was like, this is the place I want to be. I don't even think I visited the school yet. I did all like Google images. I looked at the campus. I just made sure like
You knew everything about Cincinnati before stepping foot on campus.
Exactly. So I just did my due diligence, and it was a good choice for me.
Did you approach free agency like that too?
A little bit, but I feel like you don't have as many choices. At least
Sure.
in my position, I didn't have as many choices in college. I had a ton of offers, and also I just looked at schools that would, even if they didn't offer me, I was still just gonna look at them. And I kind of do free agency like that, but it's not as open of a choice for me in that situation.
Is that part of it tough as a professional athlete? You don't know where your next opportunity is.
Yeah.
And look, the NFL's not forever, and who knows how many years or whatever, so you just suck it up and go, right?
Yeah.
And your wife has been very supportive through all this, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, she's been amazing. I mean, she was there with me in Baltimore the whole time. Because we even talked about it when I first went to Baltimore. I'm like, you can stay in Cincinnati, because she's never left. She went to school there. She went to college there. She's never been outside of Cincinnati until we went to Baltimore. So I'm like, you can stay there, and if you want. But she was down to go, and we went there. And then when we came here, we had a newborn.
Right.
So we just had a little baby girl, and I'm like, if you want to, because we just built a house in Cincinnati too. So I'm like, if you want to stay in Cincinnati, so you don't have to be down here, and I'll be all right. I just held it down, but she said no. She wanted to be with me.
Wow.
And yeah, so she's been down here. She's been killing it.
And you're thinking, there goes sleep. You get the
She's
little
like,
baby girl.
She's like, if I'm not sleeping, nobody's sleeping.
No, I will say that's where she's a trooper. She lets me. I sleep in another room right now.
Okay.
'Cause I wake up so early in the morning.
Because how many months are we here?
She's only at 4 months, so
Right.
she's
And I
still.
know this is such a celebration for you guys with what
Yeah.
happened to your son.
Right.
Definitely.
And we did a 53, and it's on HoustonTexans.com in the app, and the guy who produced it is sitting not too far away from us
amazing.
here in the Hyundai Texans radio studios, Tyler Suddarth, who edited that piece and produced that piece and shot it. But that has to be such a joy to have your little baby girl, and you must just – I mean, everybody smiles at their little baby girl,
Yeah.
but this is extra special.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a huge blessing. I mean, every day I come home, I look at her, I can't believe like we have this little baby, this bundle of joy. Like, it's insane. I can't. And now she's at the point where when I walk in the door, she recognizes me and she smiles. She wasn't able to do that at first. So now my heart is just.
Oh, yeah.
That's so great that she's here, though. I talked
Yeah.
to you in training camp, and they were still, I think, in Baltimore at the time.
Yeah.
And she just had the baby, so it was kind of early for her to move down here. And I remember asking you, we were done interviewing, and I said, so is your wife going to move down here with the baby? Because you were FaceTiming at the
Yeah.
time, and that's got to be hard, first baby, and,
Yeah.
you know, like you can't even hold her or play with her, but now she's down here. And
Yep. It's
mean-
it's amazing. We told her that to stay at home for training camp, just so she has her dad lives right like 5 minutes from us down the street, so just so she has some support, because during training camp we're definitely not at home.
Sure.
Right.
So at least she'll be able to be around the baby and have some help. So I was FaceTiming them every day, and it was tough, because that's the thing I was worried about. Like, they won't ever remember this period, but I can tell like from when she came up here after training camp, she didn't recognize me the same as before. So that broke my heart a little bit. But I mean, now that when she knows who I am, she's smiling.
she sees you every day now, so
Yeah.
that probably didn't take long at all.
No, it didn't. So it's awesome. It was worth it. And,
That's the best. Chris Moore with us, by the way. And the greatest thing is one loss record, whatever, they don't care. The little kids don't care.
Nope,
You know, However, the teenagers do. Okay, when I get home, Vanderkid, who's 15, he wants a complete debriefing of what went down on Sunday. So you never know. But that is terrific. So is the baby sleeping well, though? Even though you're in a different room, is your wife handling that okay? Because I'm sure Deepi has lots of tips. So do I.
Yes, and I feel your pain because it's I feel your wife's pain especially because I was the one doing the getting up at night.
Yeah.
See, I did it for us. I had the night shift. Yes, I said I wanted it. I want the night shift. Well, because I knew she was going to be alone with the baby all day, and I was like, you're going to go crazy, okay? So I'll take the night, and I can just suffer during the day, and that's how I worked.
Yeah. Before I came up here, I did do some of the night shift before the season started because I think we had her a month or two before, so I did pull some nighters for her. But now, like, she's doing all right. The problem is when we hit one stage, when we finally get a routine, she's in onto the next part where now she doesn't want to sleep again. Like, so we had her in the swaddle and we got that routine down, and now she can break out of the swaddle. So we had to get something else. So it's just trying to. Yeah, I know. It's just trying to find a routine.
It's like a David Copperfield sketch after a while.
I had a friend once tell me, she's like, by kindergarten, they're all sleeping through the night. And that, for some reason, that gave me hope because with my oldest, I was like,
kindergarten?
I was like, this kid's never going to sleep through the night.
You can't say that to Chris Moore. Kindergarten right now. He's thinking, I need it to happen on Tuesday.
I had one kid that was 3.5 and I would get up and do early morning runs. And it's like as soon as I would get out of bed. It's like he knew
it's over.
She's about to go somewhere, and it's like I had so many mornings like that. But then by the second or third, maybe I just got deaf. I guess I just couldn't hear them. I was like, oh, they don't wake up at night. Maybe just sleep through it. I don't know.
That's a handy trait in those situations. All right, so when you go home, do you bring the tablet with you and look at plays and look at video? How do you handle the homework part of this job?
Yeah, so when I get home, that's when I take her from my wife, and I usually feed her, and then I'm sitting there, I'm studying the plays of what I got to do for that week, what my job is, just looking at some coverages and stuff like that. So just studying like you would at homework from school. It's really the same thing. That's how I treat it. I have a notebook, take good detailed notes, and that's what I do.
Were you a really good student in school? I feel like you probably were.
School-wise, yes. I had some behavior problems growing up, but I got better.
I cannot imagine that. I really
don't believe that.
I was a little wild kid until I met my wife. My wife calmed me down.
So your wife changed you? So let's talk about that.
I don't know. I just calmed down once I met her and started.
He seems so calm. This is
you seem I
am now. Yeah.
So you met her in college.
Yes.
All right, so you're telling us when you had the spreadsheet going and everything, you still had, we're a little wild.
Yeah, I was still I wasn't like going out and partying and stuff. I was just, I don't know, man. I had too much energy to be in school. Like I used to just be hyper in school. I feel like that used to get me in trouble.
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, not too much trouble, but I know the feeling of just being like feeling out of my shell in a way.
Mine was talking too much in class. I know that's really hard to believe. But
that was me too.
I would get in trouble for that more than anything else. And I have one kid that gets that too, and I really feel his pain because you don't want to stifle a kid either if they've got all this energy.
Yeah.
But then you're like, can you just not get in trouble?
Yeah. It's a tough battle.
So you meet.
But now you're probably quiet in the meeting.
Yeah, I'm a quiet person. I bet most people in the locker room, if they knew that I was like that growing up, they wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
All right. So who's the most boisterous receiver, really?
Probably Brandon Cooks. The funniest thing about him is he sings a lot, and like he'll get a song stuck in your head because he'll come in the locker room and just sing a part, and he'll sing that same part all day.
On repeat.
Yeah, and then you're like, dang, you go home and now you singing it in your head. So no, but he's an awesome dude. I like him a lot.
We have him on every week, so I'm going to mention that to him about the singing.
He wanted to be on Broadway. That's probably why he was singing. He was in theater. How do you not know
threw
this?
How do I not know this?
Listen to my interviews?
I guess I missed that one.
Hamilton, I told him he'd make a great Thomas Jefferson, and he agreed with me.
He wants to be Thomas Jefferson?
I wanted him to be Thomas Jefferson. He suggested Book of Mormon.
He's a good singer.
Yeah, he wanted to do that.
All right, this is a game changer. This is a game changer.
So he
never mind what happens on Sunday. The Monday morning 8:10 interview is going to be about Hamilton. Okay,
have him sing for you.
We're going there. We're going there for sure. You don't sing, do you?
No.
Okay, there it is.
Sing, no.
All right, but so he's kind of the jester, if you will. He's the entertainer of the receiver group.
See, that's the thing. I don't know if we have anybody that's over the top that you would call like a class clown type person.
Right.
he just talks the most, or probably the most boisterous out of all of us.
What's Nico like? Because I haven't talked to him yet in an interview format.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. I mean, I like him because he's one of those. He's not a rookie that thinks he knows all. He's there. He's trying to absorb and learn as much as he can, and he's really chill. He just sits in there and he just tries to absorb all that's taken in. Like he's very coachable. When we tell him something, he tries to apply it immediately. And so.
What about Danny? Danny's the most veteran guy of the group,
Yeah.
so I'm sure he commands a lot of respect.
Yeah, I mean,
although he doesn't carry himself like that.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. Everybody loves him. The coolest thing about him is during game days, he flips a switch. Like if y'all see Danny during game days, he's a different dude. He's
Really?
He's a wild man. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a different guy.
That's
during
how he's
game days.
played so long and survived in this league. And Conley is really fast, really good, really smart. He's a really smart guy.
Yes.
Love talking with him.
Yeah, he's very smart. He's very interesting because he has his hands in a lot of different things in his life. He has a lot of, I want to say hobbies, but hobbies that he enjoys doing, and just you can sit there and talk to him all day because he'll have something to tell you about. Like he's awesome.
I think my interview with him went 30 minutes. We talked about Star Wars, directing, TV. I mean,
Video
he's
games,
just
anything.
he has a lot of takes on a lot of different things. Do you guys get into big discussions with him on TVs and movies?
Yeah, we were arguing as a few of our teammates were arguing about Harry Potter versus Lord of the Rings last week.
What was the argument?
Well, we were saying a lot of us like Harry Potter because, I mean, that's what we grew up. We say it's some of the greatest books and movies. But he's like, no, it's Lord of the Rings because that's where it all started. He's like, J.K. Rowling got all her ideas from Lord of, like he knows the history. Like he'll get you. So you don't want to get in an argument with Chris Conley. He got facts to back it up.
I look at those as very different. I know they're both series and everything, but they're very different.
Yeah.
Well, he says Dune is the precursor to Star Wars.
Yeah, that's what he was telling
He won't
us.
even give Star Wars its credit. He said, well, they got their ideas from Dune.
Yeah.
Oh, they read the book because the Dune movie came out after Star Wars, I thought.
guess.
Oh, I got to look.
He
The
said-
original Dune
Yeah,
movie.
he said the original Dune, I think, came because he was telling us the same thing. I think the original Dune came out before Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Original Dune.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
haven't
going to
seen
check
Dune.
this out. I haven't seen the new one or the old one,
Yeah,
so
me
I don't know.
neither.
For some reason, I missed that one. I've definitely seen Star Wars, though,
Yeah.
and I'm sure we'll get into more entertainment stuff as this conversation continues. What about Robert Prince, the receivers coach?
He's awesome. He's a high energy dude. I've never seen a coach sprint up and down the field so much during practice. Like, and even before practice, he times his run to the bubble because it's not a quick walk over there. It's a nice little walk, and he sprints there sprints. He times himself and sprints to the bubble before practice.
These coaches are amazing because you have Pep Hamilton on the bike.
Yeah.
You have Prince sprinting. You have other guys walking, of course. That bike thing, though, that could catch on for me. I just have to say.
I told Levy this. I was like, have you noticed it's the offensive coaches on bikes? The defensive coaches were not on bikes, at least in training camp.
Really?
Yeah, it was Pep. It was Danny Barrett.
Yep.
I want to say Campy was on a bike at one point.
Campy was on a bike.
There were a lot of guys on bikes.
Yeah.
But not Levy and not any of the defensive coaches.
No, they walk.
But I've seen Robert Prince running, and I always thought he was late.
No, he just.
That's just him
he-
getting to
and he'll
practice.
and he
Like,
gets
oh,
a
boy.
workout before practice too. He goes and lifts in there too. Like he's
a
incredible.
really interesting guy. He was a head coach of a team in Japan for a bit, and they were corporate owned or something. I thought it was really cool. It sounded like the old Rollerball movie to me. Speaking of movies, but he's seen a lot of guys in this league. He was an assistant quarterbacks coach in Atlanta when Michael Vick and Matt Schaub were there, and Schaub played here for a number of years.
Yeah.
You were a little kid when that happened.
I remember that though.
All right, so the Bearcats, I want to get into this a little bit. Maybe we'll have to continue after the break, but they're going for it now.
Yeah.
They're going for the playoffs. So next up, I want you to sell me on them being in the playoff.
Okay.
Because they are undefeated.
Yeah.
They got to win out, of course. We all know that. They're undefeated, and there are a lot of people who say, I don't know about that schedule, but we'll see. We'll talk about that, among many other things. Chris Moore is joining us on the Fuddruckers Texans Players Show. It's the Fuddruckers Texans Players Show. Chris Moore is our guest. Marc, Vandermeer, and Deepi Sidhu with you. And let's give away a Fuddruckers card.
Let's do
right
it.
now.
Yeah.
All right, so you email TexansRadio@HoustonTexans.com. That's TexansRadio@HoustonTexans.com. And what town, what area is Chris from? We talked about that in segment one. Where is Chris from? Where did he grow up? Give us the general area, and you get it right first. TexansRadio@HoustonTexans.com, and you win something from Fuddruckers. And boy, I wish they were serving up some burgers right here. I could really go for one.
We'd be
right
doing this
now.
whole interview with a meal in front
Yes,
of us,
of
Chris.
course.
Pre-COVID.
That's how we used to do it. Post COVID, we'll be back there.
Yeah.
I love
you know,
burgers too.
a lot of people think the pandemic's over, but we're still in the protocols here with the National Football League. You guys are tested at least once a week and have all that other stuff going on. But
Yeah.
this is better than last year, right?
Oh yeah, a lot better. I mean, we can actually interact with our teammates and coaches without feeling. I don't know. I felt like we were in the hazmat suits last year. It was crazy.
All right, so Coach Culley, what was he like when you were around him in Baltimore?
I mean, that's the cool thing about him. He hasn't changed. He was the same coach. High energy. Just That's the biggest thing I always tell people. When I used to be a receiver, it doesn't matter where you were at on the field or where your mind was during the game. You can hear him, and I don't know how his voice does that, but his voice penetrates all things, and you can hear him when you're on that field.
It does. I hear him upstairs. And
do?
I'll be deep in my office with the door almost all the way shut. I'll hear Marc, and he'll be like 40 yards away, and it's like, yes, coach. Anyway,
Yeah.
but he's the same guy, and he's been around for a long time, and
Yeah.
he's seen a lot of football.
Oh yeah, he's a good players coach. His office door is always open. You can go talk to him. He's called me before I've called him. Like it's just a good relationship with him. It's not one of them coaches that you feel like you can't go up to and talk to. So.
All right, that's outstanding. Now,
Yeah.
Bearcats. So
Yes.
I don't know how closely you follow everything right now, because a lot of guys, they follow it, but not in great detail.
Yeah.
But look, there they are. They're in the top 4 right now. If they win out, don't they deserve to be in?
Definitely. Like, I mean, they only lost one game last year. That was the Sugar Bowl to Georgia, so who's the number 1 team now. So I feel like that's okay. And
Yeah.
then their defense is amazing. They got a great secondary, and they've been holding down. And then they got rid of our quarterback who's been making some great plays this year. So I feel like if they went out, they should get the opportunity. And I think the thing I like to see is that the polls are letting them. They're still number 2 in the nation, even after some slow starts and some closer games. So I'm excited to see what they do tonight when the rankings come out.
Yeah, they definitely deserve heavy consideration, and it sounds like a lot of young kids have been using spreadsheets, and they've made their way to Cincinnati because, you were smart. You said, look, this is an up-and-coming place. I think you played a year with them when they were still in the Big East even,
Yeah.
right? And then they go to the new league, and here they are trying to do something really spectacular, which is get into the playoffs outside of that Power 5.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Coach Fickle's amazing. What that program that he's building there is insane. Like, those kids have really bought into what he's doing. I've heard, like, great things about the strength coach there. Like, everybody's bought into that whole program, into what they're trying to do there. So, I mean, once you get that, that's a good recipe for a great team.
Have you been able to go back and watch a game since you left there?
I think I watched the game. I got to watch the game last year, 2 years ago. The thing that I don't know why this always happens like this, but whenever I have a bye week, it's a away game for them.
Sure.
And it kills me because me and my wife want to go back there so bad because,
Yeah.
I mean, we love the atmosphere. They treat us well there.
They're playing Houston this year, and I don't know if that's here.
I'll look it up.
It's later in.
I don't mind
the
doing
month.
this while we're doing the show. I don't mind that
Okay,
at all.
I just
I
pulled
think
that out
that
of
was
thin air.
In
Playing
Cincinnati.
SMU, but
Yep.
it's after the bye. But Houston.
Yeah, well, it's I'm going to check that out here. But I wanted to ask you about Cincinnati because, like, when you're playing football there, do you ever go to hoops games? Did you go to the Crosstown Shootout, which is a big deal there? Because
Yeah.
it's Cincinnati against Xavier.
Yep.
And, look, I know it's outside of that city. It's not the biggest deal in the world unless they're both ranked. But
Yeah.
to me, that's a huge game.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. It's been cool because a few years they did it downtown in the Fountain Square, too, and they had the game there. So I don't think I actually ever got to go to one of those games because that game's usually earlier in the basketball season when we're still in football. But in the off season, I always go back at least to a few basketball games now. So I got a good connection with the AD and stuff there. I get to get courtside seats sometimes.
Okay, we got the answer. It is Tampa, from the Tampa area. That's where Chris Moore is from. So Fuddruckers gift card distributed, and there we go. Well, distributed soon enough anyway. All right, we talked about some entertainment stuff, but let's get into it now. All right, pregame ritual, like what do you like to listen to? What do you like to do? Is there any particular kind of music or song that fires you up for a game? Do you mix it up? Do you listen to what's on the PA? Does anybody listen to what's on the PA system in the stadium, or does everybody have earbuds when they go out to the field?
Well, we just got those new speakers in there last week, so now I feel like on the field you could really hear the music. But I feel like, I don't know, when I'm out there, I don't like to go out on the field with music, so I usually focused, and I don't know, I tone all that out. But in the locker room, anybody's playing is usually good for me. And sometimes like in the hot tub when I'm warming up, especially if it's a home game because we get the hot tub here. I'll just watch like a show or something just to.
So you do the hot tub before you play because it loosens you up or whatever, gets
just
you warm?
Get the muscles warm. Then we do all type of stretching and stuff in here.
That would relax me too much.
You can't,
think so?
if you're in there
Yeah.
too long, that'll
I'd
happen.
take a nap. I'd be ready for a nap after that.
You got to time it right.
It's like, guys, game time. Let's go. Let's go.
It's like, oh, but I'm just so relaxed. Hot tub before the game, and then who plays the music in the locker room? This is a question I've had. Like, is there a DJ in the locker room?
It switches. It's usually a defensive player for sure because wherever the connect for the phone is at is all down near there.
Yeah, that's where it was.
They always take over and
You guys have no shot at
No,
taking
offense
over.
doesn't get to play music in there.
I haven't been there. We haven't been there since before COVID. But the wide receivers were clear on the other end of the locker room, and it was Brandon Dunn. It was right next to his locker, and he was the DJ.
Yeah.
So it has to be whoever's probably occupying.
Yeah,
Well,
I think Kursky does it now because he's the one that's lockers right next to
Aha.
it.
Wait, are you talking about the new locker room, DP,
the
or
new
the old
locker
one?
room.
All
I
right.
haven't been in the new. We haven't been in the new locker room.
Well, I
Have you
was
been in
there
the
before camp got started when we were touring through and just seeing it, checking it out,
Yeah, it's
and
awesome.
we shot a video of the guys checking it out. It was really cool. It looks like just a space age kind of thing in there. It's really awesome.
It's beautiful.
And you saw the work they did in the off season on it, so it looks tremendous. Okay, at home, you and the wife. You watching some of the streaming services? Do you have any shows you're binging on, addicted to, or whatever?
We finished. I watched Squid Games. We finished that. That was pretty good. We watched You. If you've seen that.
You?
I've
Yeah, I know what
seen
that is.
some of it.
That is-
I've stopped watching it. It's just I can't sleep afterwards.
Oh, really?
Creepy.
Yeah, it is a little creepy.
It got
but-
really creepy this last season.
Yeah,
so.
it did. So, but I'm excited for the next one because I mean, they always do a good job of finishing it with him still stalking somebody. So.
And he had like a baby in this season, right?
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it
You're
got
brave.
crazy. Yeah,
You're brave for watching that. And
So-
Squid Game.
yeah.
It keeps you hooked. Squid Games, I haven't seen it yet. I've seen all the memes.
It's
Yeah.
singular. Squid Game.
Oh, sorry. I screwed that
I know.
up.
It's okay.
That sounds so bad when you screw something like that up, though. It's
Well,
like,
I mean, that's
you
why
have
I'm
no clue what you're talking about.
I called it Squid Games too, if it makes
Yeah.
you feel any better, because when you hear it, it seems like it should be.
Yeah, but
like
it's
Hunger Games.
It's the one game it's based off of though. The last game. I think that's why they named it singular. But I like that because I like to think about if I was put in that situation, how I would react to it. That's why I really enjoyed that.
What would be your game of choice if you got to pick?
I like the red light,
Red
green
light,
light?
green light?
Yeah, I feel like my speed and as a receiver, I should be able to
Instincts?
stop in time. So I feel like that would be a fun
That's a
game.
good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. Did
Yeah.
you ever run track?
Oh yeah, I was on the 4x1. I ran hurdles and did all that in high school.
In high school.
Yeah, they didn't let me do it in college. I really wanted to, but
Yeah,
Why
I don't
not?
remember seeing it on your college.
it's a thing that they don't like to let football players run track sometimes.
That's changed because
Yeah.
in the back of the, I was
Yeah.
the voice of the Hurricanes back in the early O's,
Yeah.
and they would show up at the Big East track tournament or whatever, the track meet, and the championships, and dominate.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't do anything all year. And it was like Andre Johnson, Clinton Portis, they'd show, we're the relay team, let's go,
Yeah.
and then just blow everybody away.
Yeah.
And I don't think people liked it.
I got to run when I was in high school. We used to go to Florida Relays when Jeff Demps and Percy Harvin were there, and we always did see them run. So I mean, I wanted to do that too, but I don't. Cincinnati wasn't letting me run track.
They don't want their guys to get hurt, I bet,
Probably, I
or
don't know.
spend too much time away.
If
from
you
football.
weren't a professional football player, pick a sport, what would you be?
I would probably be running track. I love to run. That's like,
But a pro, well, there is pro track.
yeah, I guess.
People don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
like overseas especially. Like
Yeah.
if you go overseas, you
Oh.
can make some money running.
Yeah.
It's a big business over there.
Do you like long distance or do you still like to sprint?
I just like to run, but I'll do long distance. I actually my first like couple years in high school, I was a mile 800 runner, and then when I finally got my speed up, I got to get down to the shorter distances.
All right, so I wasn't expecting track. That really threw me off, Chris. I don't know.
All right, I got another one for you.
Okay.
I haven't played it, but I love soccer. Like
Okay.
me and my wife gone to Italy and watch Juventus play. Like,
Ooh.
I like the atmosphere is insane.
It's
It's
insane.
unmatched. Like
Yep.
those fans, they did not leave while the game is going on, they don't get up out of their seats.
Right.
They don't go to the bathroom.
It's crazy,
they
isn't
sit
it?
there.
Right, getting snacks.
Yeah, because my wife got up to get something to drink, and she said there was nobody out, and she was the only
They
one.
don't miss a second because you're going to miss the one goal.
Right.
And I think she did too. That's what was crazy. I think she missed one of the only goals that happened. While she was out there.
That's why people don't get out of their seats. It is a different atmosphere. When we have the matches in here, if you have Mexico in this building, it is ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane, and it's this constant noise from the moment the fans get in the building to the moment they leave. It doesn't stop. It almost doesn't go up or down. It's just this constant noise.
Yeah.
It's really amazing the atmospheres they have around the world. Okay, Chris Moore is with us. I asked Brandon Cooks this question about the trade deadline. I want to ask Chris the same question. Among other things, we got to talk about the Dolphins coming up on Sunday at noon. It's the Fuddruckers Texans Players Show on Texans Radio. Marc, Vandermeer, and Deepi Sidhu with you on the Fuddruckers Texans Players Show. We're doing it from the Hyundai Texans Radio studio, as we'll be back at Fuddruckers, I hope, next year. I can't guarantee anything because pandemic, protocols, whatever, but here we are. All right, Chris Moore is our guest, and it's been fun talking with you, Chris. I asked Brandon yesterday, so the trade deadline this week, what is it like as a player? You see some guys you played with going, you're not sure what's going to happen. Is it me? Is it them? Is it nobody?
Yeah.
Is that kind of an uneasy feeling? How do you handle that as a professional player?
Yeah, I feel like you can't pay too much attention to it or think about it because it'll just drive you crazy. It's similar to before near the end of the training camp when you're thinking about cuts and they're cutting the roster down. You can't think about it because you don't want it to trickle over to something else. So I try not to think too much about the trade deadline. I like to see what these other teams are doing and how, like for example, Von Miller to the Rams, that was insane.
Right.
Like, it's crazy how some of that
You're
stuff
we
happens.
just played them. You guys don't even need Von Miller, okay?
They're trying to do something over there. It's crazy.
Yeah. It is nuts. So do you follow the other teams pretty closely and monitor what's happening around the league?
I want to say closely. I just think, it's social media, Instagram, you have unlimited access to information.
Can't avoid it,
Yeah,
really.
as soon as you scroll, that's the 12 different things they're going to post that
Right.
Von Miller got traded, so you're going to see it.
It is hard to avoid it even if you try to, just because it seems like they talk about the trade deadline the entire month leading up to the trade deadline. Is it almost a sense of relief once it's all done and out of the way? Like, okay, now that's done with.
Yeah.
And then you can just sort of play out the rest of the season. You know this is going to be your core group of guys.
Yeah, I mean, once that trade deadline gets done, oh, okay, now we're all here. We're not looking over our shoulders or looking over to see who's that new locker down there.
Yeah.
You just, all right, this is the team we got. So.
Right. Well, and you began the conversation, or at least it was earlier on when we were talking about the practice squad and the way things are structured now. I think it's really player-friendly now, and it's also team management-friendly because you have all these options with the roster, but it does create more job opportunities, and I got to think this is going to continue for a while. It just seems to be a better way to run things.
Yeah, I don't see a reason why they should get rid of it. I think a lot of the vets appreciate it because, like I said, we get a job. I mean, we're getting paid to still be here, and we still on the team, and they get to get those activations, so you can still play games. You get to play 2 games before they have to actually sign you to the roster. So you still get a chance to prove yourself, and it's very flexible. So I don't see why they would get rid of it.
That's a good point because we've seen so many notable names throughout the league that end up on practice squads.
Yeah.
Guys that have been Adrian Peterson just signed to the practice squad.
Yeah.
Like these are guys that you think they're out of the league, but then they come back to the practice squad, and you're right, it's sort of like an acclimation period.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think to get traded mid-season or to get signed mid-season, it's hard to just pick up an offense and go.
Yeah.
But if you get activated, like you're saying, on any given week, and you've been here this whole time,
Yeah.
your familiarity is there at least,
Yeah,
right?
that's what, like you said, getting on practice squad, you get to learn the offense, get to learn the playbook, especially for an offensive player. There's a lot of stuff that goes into those formations and all the concepts. So to get those weeks at least on practice squad, getting to be around the team, get to build that chemistry and learn the offense truly. Because otherwise, you're just going to be thrown on the active roster. They either have to have you inactive for the week, which is a waste for their spot, I feel like, or you're just going to be playing in the game with just this limited amount of knowledge of what's actually going on in the offense.
All right, so you're going to South Florida. It's not your South Florida. It's the East Coast South Florida. So
Close.
What is that like, though, to go to Miami and play the Dolphins? How often were you able to play down there before or play in the Tampa area or Florida in general?
See, it's crazy. I don't think I've ever got to play in Tampa since I've been in NFL. I did in college because we had USF.
Right.
So I got to go there. So my mom got to. I actually broke the school receptions touchdown record in Tampa. I was able to get my the ball right there, so that
That's
was awesome.
amazing.
Yeah. But going to Miami is always fun because I do have family it's only a 4-hour drive, and who doesn't want to go to Miami to watch a football game? So yeah, I'll have my mom there, family there, some old coaches. They'll all be there watching. It's gonna be fun.
So you have some tickets to dole out.
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
He's like,
yeah.
yes, I do.
Oh, yeah. And then after that, you got the bye, and I know this week is what's most important, but it's always good to have that rest, right? How do
Yes.
you handle that week?
It depends. This year, since we have the baby, we don't want to do too much traveling. So me and my wife usually just try to go somewhere and just relax, get some good food, because I'm usually trying to eat very healthy during the season. I get some.
You can have a cheat during the bye.
Yeah, get some good cheat and just relax, spend time with my wife and my baby.
When did you?
Can I ask what the cheat? What is an
go ahead.
ideal cheat meal?
Anything with a burger. I love burgers.
I'm the
for real.
same. Yeah.
I love hamburgers.
Do you not eat any during the season?
No, I do still. At least I try not to, like, throughout the week I'm usually eating what Lad recommends
What's in
here.
the cafe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then probably like after the game I'll go get to In-N-Out or some other burger place just to
Refuel.
Yeah, just because it's after a game and I know I'm not practicing the next day, so I'll go ahead and enjoy myself.
I bet those post-game meals are great. That should be a thing where players take pictures of their post-game meals.
That should.
Right?
You might be onto something there.
Right? I would love to see I don't know why. That's really interesting to me because I just love a good cheat meal story.
Yeah.
So the Astros are in the World Series, and here they are coming back. And I know you grew up in Tampa, and the Rays didn't win against the Red Sox.
Yeah.
And you lived in Cincinnati for a while, and Baltimore. So you lived in some baseball places. But here you are, and they're in the World Series. What's that like for you to have that happen in this city?
It's pretty cool. You can feel the buzz that this city is excited for this team. I'm really excited for I don't know his name, but the furniture guy.
Oh,
Mattress Mac.
Yeah, he bet like $2 million on them to win the World Series.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm low-key rooting for him because that's insane.
He always comes out ahead.
Yeah.
He does.
He finds a way.
Yeah.
He finds a way.
I thought that was crazy, so I'm really just following just because of that.
It's for Mattress Mac.
Yeah.
Do you like the sport? Do you watch it, or is it something that you casually pay attention to?
Yeah, it's something I casually pay attention to. Me and my wife used to just go to like Reds games, or we've been to Orioles games just for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really her. She don't like sitting there watching baseball too much.
Yeah.
I can get into it, but it's just something to do.
Well, we look forward to seeing you on Sunday against the Dolphins in South Florida, Chris. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
That's Chris Moore, Texans wide receiver, and we'll have Texans All Access coming up next here. Go over everything that happened today. It's happening next on Texans Radio.